Ja, hallo alle zusammen. Wie geht es euch? Gut? Yay. Okay. Let's switch to English then. Okay. I will say a few things in German here and there, but we're going to try to stay in English. So I'm going to share my presentation with you. I hope it's going to work. Let me see. Here we go. Okay. Let me see if I can make it bigger like this. Okay, wait. Here we go. Okay, can everybody see? Yeah, perfect. I'm from Germany. In German, it's Deutschland. And yeah, mein Heimatland. So this is my home country, okay? As you can see, Germany is in the middle of Europe, which is perfect because through the European Union, we can travel everywhere. We just need our little ID and we can get on a plane, we can get on a train, and we can go anywhere. You as Mexicans, for you, it's also easy to go. All you need to do is get your passport and you're ready. You can stay in the EU for 3 months as a tourist, okay? Yeah, and it's very easy. Our population right now is 83 millions. I left around 6 years ago. I just came to Mexico for an internship and I fell in love with the country. So that's why I'm still here. And I don't know yet when I will go back, but I try to visit every year. Obviously, right now with COVID, it's a bit more complicated, but yeah. Our life expectancy is 81 years, which is higher than in Mexico. Yeah, everybody in Germany has health insurance, so our health system is very, very good. And our fertility rate is lower than here, 1.5 children. Doesn't mean we're getting half children or anything, it's just the average. Yeah, and I would say that like women in Germany get babies, their first babies much later than here, especially in big cities. I saw like a statistic that a few years ago, the statistic for the first baby was when a woman is 37 in cities, not in the countryside, but in cities. So 37, you can imagine, is quite old compared to Mexico. Yeah, I am almost 34 and I'm not thinking about babies yet, so we'll see. Okay, let's go to the next one. I don't know how much you know about the history of Germany. So we used to be divided. Yeah, you can see the 5 countries over here. They were part of East Germany and the rest was West Germany. Okay, and there was a wall in Berlin that divided the city between 1961 and 1989. Okay, and then I was born in 87, so I was 2 years old when the wall finally came down. So I don't really remember anything, but obviously I know a lot of stories from my mom and from my dad. Yeah. Germans started going every Monday. They went to protest. Yeah, every Monday there was a demonstration because obviously the people wanted to be back together. Because imagine in Berlin, maybe your sister or your brother lived in the other part of the city. You weren't able to see them. So that's why the people wanted to have their freedom. They wanted to be able to travel wherever they wanted. So they started protesting. And at the end, it started very small. And then in the end, it was like thousands and 10,000s of people in all the big cities. And the government was so under pressure in the end, and there was a lot of confusion. Yeah, it just happened that the borders were opened. There was a press conference and they just said, yeah, it says here the border is open. And this is what you can see here in this photo. Everybody started climbing on the wall. They started destroying the wall. And yeah, that was, I would say, the best historical day in Germany. Yeah, so far, like really, really emotional and really, really good. But let's go a step back because I want to show you a little bit about how it all happened. Obviously, you know that after the Second World War, everything was destroyed. This is what it looked like right after the wall. This is our Reichstag, like the parliament in Berlin. And this is what it looks like now. Okay. And after the Second World War, we had 4 different sectors in Berlin. We had the Soviet sector, the Russians. We had the American sector, the British sector, and the French sector. Okay. The British and the French, they left at some point, but as you know, especially well in the 50s, 60s, the Cold War started between the Russians and the Americans. So they stayed there. And yeah, that's when it started that we had West Berlin and East Berlin and West Germany and East Germany. Okay. And yeah, down here, I don't know if anybody knows about the speech. John F. Kennedy, he came to Berlin once. Yeah, and he gave a speech and he famously said, Ich bin ein Berliner. Actually, to say in German, I is ich, okay, I-C-H, ich. But the people in Berlin, they have like a very strong accent. So they say ich or icke, okay? That's why here it says ich bin ein Berliner. I'm a person from Berlin. And the meme is, here it says ich auch, me too. Because this is like a dessert in Germany and it's called Berliner. So that's why ich auch. Okay. And yeah, down in the last photo, you can see this is part of East Berlin. This is the TV tower. So obviously there wasn't a lot of money in East Germany because it wasn't capitalist, it was communist. But in order to show their power, like their political power, they built this huge TV tower, which is still there today. This used to be like the tallest building in Germany for a long, long time. Yeah, and you can still visit this place today. Okay, let me go to the next slide. Yeah, also today we still find parts of the Berlin Wall. There's like an outside museum that you can find. And also there are still checkpoints, basically the border where people could cross the border. This specific one here is called US Army Checkpoint Charlie. So if you're a tourist, this would be one of the places you would go. Obviously, it's not real American soldiers, as you can see. They're just actors. But you can go, you can take photos with them. Obviously, you have to pay. The photos I don't really recommend, but maybe you could take your passport and you have to pay €5 and you can get the stamps, yeah, that they used to have. So we can see here all the stamps, like the British crown, you can see. This bear is like the sign, like the icon for Berlin. This one here, the red one, is from the former GDR from East Germany. And here in the left corner, you see the Russian one. So you can go and get those things for €5. Okay. Yeah, here are some things that you have to know about East Germany. Also in Berlin, you have the Ampelmann. Basically, it's the traffic light, and you will always know if you are in the west or if you are in the east, because this is like the icon for East Berlin, the Ampelmann. You can buy it in tourist shops and all these things. I want to talk a little bit about communism, about the economical system in the East. So communism meant that anything you wanted to buy, be it a car or if you wanted to get an apartment, you had to ask for it. You had to put your name on a waiting list. And maybe you had to wait for 6 months, maybe even longer before you got the car, because they would only start producing the things if you ask for them. Yes, so there were 2 cars. One of them is Trabant, that's this one. They're beautiful. They still exist today with like good motors. But yeah, it's typical for East Germany. Another thing was sometimes there was like a big line outside a supermarket. That meant there was something special, for example, bananas, or I don't know. So when people saw a long line outside a shop, they were like, ooh, we should check what they have. Also, you know, with everything, like types of cereal, there were only 2 types. Yeah, not like today, not like in capitalism, too much of everything, but just what was necessary, so to say. Then down here we have peppermint schnapps. This is also like a typical East German drink, alcoholic drink. It still exists today. It's the cheapest thing you can buy. And it's actually quite useful because like you can drink as much as you want and you don't smell. It's like mouth water, kind of. But you cannot buy it in the West, only in the East. And then we have here the Sandman. The Sandman was a kids show. Every day at 6 and 7 at night, the Sandman came on the TV and everybody was watching it. But it was very much controlled by the government. So there was like a lot of propaganda as well, because from early on, kids had to join a club. They wanted to make sure that the people don't rebel against the government. And yeah, that's basically the purpose of those kind of clubs and propaganda and all these things. There was also a secret police. They were basically spying on everybody. It could be that your neighbor was working for the secret police and you didn't know because it was secret. So maybe they were watching you and they were, taking notes of what you're doing. So my dad, for example, his sister, she lived in the West. So sometimes she sent packages and, you know, a lot of things were forbidden. We didn't have, I don't know, any type of West product, any type of American product, like no Coca-Cola, no certain types of music was not allowed. So sometimes in those West packages, they sent forbidden music, they sent forbidden products. And of course, also people were planning to escape, to cross the border. They had to think of certain ways. If you lived in Berlin, you only had the options of people were digging tunnels, people used zip lines, people were hiding in cars to cross the border. A lot of different things. Yeah, people wanted their freedom and tried to escape, and a lot of people died. A lot of people were shot on the border because the soldiers there were allowed to shoot people if they tried to escape. And yeah, all of these things were happening. People were arrested. People just disappeared because they thought they were against the government. A lot of these things were going on. Yeah. So this is a very sad history. When I think like 20 years later, 20 years after the reunification, my mom and my dad, they went to like an official government office and they asked for those documents. So my dad was actually able to see the documents and to check like, oh my God, this neighbor, he was spying on us. Like, so 20, 25 years later, they could read everything. Yeah, it was made public. They couldn't keep it, but they could go and read it. Yeah, so that was very interesting. Okay, let me go to the next one. Here you can see part of the outside museum. So this is still the wall. It's along the river. and people use it for art. Yeah, so for example, here it says, es gilt, viele Mauern abzubauen, basically meaning we must build down walls. And as you can see, people use graffiti as well for social commentary. So that's a very big thing in Berlin. There's a lot of graffiti, a lot of art, a very creative city. In this photo here, you can see what the typical houses used to look like. And you can see they're just gray. Yeah, all of East Berlin was just gray, not a lot of color. Maybe some trees, but not a lot of color. So now also people put like art there and make everything more pretty. Here you can see like a simple like an ashtray or like a trash can, and they also put like art on it to make it more modern. Okay. Yeah, some things you can do in Berlin and everywhere else. Everywhere in all German parks, it is allowed to have barbecues. Not like here when I first came to Mexico and I read like the signs, don't touch the grass. I was like, what? Why not? So yeah, you can, everybody is also very respectful. When you're finished with your party, you take your trash and there's no problem. And you can see here, you can drink alcohol in public places. So you can walk on any street and you can drink as you like. Yeah. We also have some weird beers, weird types of beers. You can see here green ones and red ones. This is specific for Berlin. And also Berlin has these photo booths. So you can photo automat, you can go in and it gives you like black and white photos, like 4 little ones for just €2. It's very cool, but be careful before you go in because some people use it as a toilet, so you have to check first. Okay, then yeah, our biggest cities, obviously Berlin, 3.7 million. Hamburg, 1.8 million. I love Hamburg. Like they are also very near together. So if you ever go to Germany, those are the cities I definitely recommend you to visit. You can see here, there's the port, yeah, the harbor with the huge container ships, and there's like a fish market, and there are a lot of bars, and it's an amazing city. Then we have Munich, that's more in the south. Munich is probably the most expensive city. I've only been there one time, and only because I like Bayern Munich, the football team. That was the only reason for me to go. It's also beautiful, but expensive. Yeah, and then we have Köln with 1 million. So that's our 4th biggest city. They have the famous Gothic cathedral. And a chocolate museum, and yeah, but compared to Mexican cities, our cities are not that big. Yeah, not that many people. All right. This is my hometown. It's called Magdeburg, meine Heimatstadt, my hometown. As you can see, we also have like a Gothic cathedral, which is beautiful. We have this thing here called Hundertwasserhaus. Which is, Hundertwasser is the name of the architect. You can see he has like weird forms, weird colors. That was the last house that he designed before he passed away. Yeah, and there was a lot of industry, but when West Germany and East Germany reunited, the industry disappeared. Yeah, a lot of people became unemployed. That's probably one good thing about communism. In communism, everybody has a job. But once we got reunited and everything became capitalist, people lost their jobs. They had to learn new types of jobs. And yeah, it was like a difficult time. Yeah, that's my hometown. Now the clothes. So it says here, people always think that these are typical clothes from all of Germany. Yeah, I mean, in a way it's true. These clothes are indeed typical from Germany, but specifically from Bavaria, from Bayern, yeah, from the south. So I only recently bought, like we call them leather pants. Actually, women don't really wear leather pants. We wear like beautiful dresses like this. But I also bought some leather pants recently. I thought, why not? So this is specifically for Bavaria, and probably, you know, Oktoberfest, people are going to wear this. Yeah. Okay, let me show you this video because it's hilarious. This is from Oktoberfest. Crazy, no? So yeah, this is part of Oktoberfest. Everybody dresses up and does that. Okay, so then the next part, oh, sorry, let me go back here. A little bit about the language. Long words, first of all. There's a stereotype that all German words are super long. One example is here, Rechtsschutzversicherungsgesellschaften, okay, meaning legal protection insurance companies. So basically what we do is we take different nouns and we just put them together somehow to like specify what we mean. And the long words are often connected by an S. And the longest officially recognized word in our dictionary has 36 letters. So yeah, I suppose it is, it's true, the stereotype. Yeah, here you can also see an example of a shop, Fußbodenschleifmaschinenverleih. Yeah, and it says Germans, this is why they don't play Scrabble. Yeah, so because, yeah, we do that. We're crazy with our language. Yeah, let me also play you this from How I Met Your Mother.
Ah, okay. Victoria. There is a word in German, lebenslanger Schicksalsschatz. And the closest translation would be lifelong treasure of destiny. And Victoria is wunderbar, but she is not my lebenslanger Schicksalsschatz. She is my beinahe leidenschaftliche Gegenstand. You know wunderbar, but you don't know beinahe leidenschaftliche Gegenstand? That's something we learn in kindergarten. I'm sorry, kindergarten is the German word for... No, I know that one.
Yeah, so there you see an example. Okay, the next one. Here we go. So also, like, the stereotype is that German is very difficult to learn. My students don't say anything, okay. It's super easy. So here's like an example in German, like if we say in English, you, in German, we could say, du, dich, dir, sie, ihnen, ihr und euch. So yeah, this is one of the things if you decide to study German, that you will learn in A1, like the difference between them. But on the other side, you can see that it can also be easier sometimes. So Germans would say bitte for saying pardon and please go ahead. Here you go. You're welcome. Not at all. So for those, we have only one word. Okay. So yeah, it's right. Some things are difficult. It's another example of the pronunciation.
Ambulance.
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 Ambulance, yeah.
Krankenwagen. Science.
Science.
Jenta.
Yes.
Naturwissenschaften.
Okay, this is absolutely exaggerated. Like, we don't all speak like this. Obviously, we have this sound like the, yeah, like or the R, like we do the R here, and but we don't all sound like this. Okay, I promise. Okay, next one. Yeah, some of the customs, well, the way I would order 3 beers is like this. Yeah, 3 beers, please. Like for me, it's even like it's super hard. Like I can't, like you can see, like I have to hold my little finger in order to do this. For me, it's super unnatural to do it like that. I would do it like this. Yeah, and there is this Tarantino movie. I'm sure you've seen it. I'm going to show you the scene where they are with the soldiers, and well, you will see. Let's watch it.
Wie viele Gläser? Ich will nicht. Ich mach's kurz machen.
Ich auch nicht, ich bleib beim Shampoo.
3 Gläser.
Yep. So he shouldn't have done that. Okay. Next one. Our popular traditions. I already mentioned Oktoberfest. Basically, it's like we have those big party tents, all the benches. People listen to music. They're dancing and they're drinking a lot of beer. That's basically it. I'm not from Munich, so don't ask me what's the origin. I have no idea. I think most Germans just know, okay, it's an excuse to drink, and that's it. Then also very important is Father's Day. Here in Mexico, Mother's Day is more important, but for us, Father's Day is more important. The reason is that it's a free day. Like everybody doesn't have to work that day. It's always on a Thursday. And it's one of the first warmer days in the year. So as you can see, groups of men and of course also groups of women, usually we go separate that day. They go to parks, they take their drinks, and again, another excuse for drinking. Okay. We also have Carnival. It's basically like the carnival in Brazil, just it's cold, so we have to wear more clothes. That's basically the only difference. So we dress up, we go on parades, they throw candies, they have speeches. Yeah, it's probably more celebrated in the Southwest, but you can also find it everywhere. And then we have Labor Day. It's like here on the 1st of May. There are always demonstrations like for better labor laws, but also every year people from the left, like usually like punks, and people from the right, which would be neo-Nazis, they travel to Berlin and to Hamburg, and they have fights with the police. That happens every single year. Even last year, even though like there were restrictions because of COVID, but they didn't care. They did it anyways. It's like one of our sad traditions. Yeah. Yeah, those are, and of course, Christmas is a big thing. Easter is a big thing. Yeah, those are the most important ones. I'm gonna compare a little bit San Marcos Fair with Oktoberfest, so you have like a comparison. San Marcos Fair has 7 million visitors. Oktoberfest has 6 million visitors. But 1 liter of beer in San Marcos Fair costs 40 pesos. In Oktoberfest, 216 pesos. So you have a comparison. It's so yeah, there you go, 10 euros. Some famous people, I think everybody knows at least the first 2, Beethoven and Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. Well, Beethoven is a musician. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe is a writer, our most famous writer. He's our Shakespeare, basically. And yeah, Karl Marx is like the well, he's like the communist. He wrote a lot of texts and books about communism and socialism. We also have Immanuel Kant, who is a philosopher. Everybody should know Angela Merkel. Yeah, she is our chancellor. Germany also has a president, but the president is more like, he's more the representative of the country, and the chancellor is really who makes all the important decisions in Germany. And she has been in that, she has been the chancellor, oh God, for so many years. And I'm also sure that many of you know Rammstein, the rock band, because they're very famous in America as well. Also because their lyrics are kind of simple, because they know they have a lot of fans in America, so they try to keep it simple so that you can learn it, maybe learn some German as well. Some memes about Rammstein. I don't always listen to German music, but when I do, du hast mich. Yeah. And then also here we have Einstein, natürlich auch ein deutscher Wissenschaftler, Einstein. I just spoke German, oh my God. I'm sorry, I have to switch my brain. Einstein, he's a German scientist. Here we have Einstein, Zweistein, Dreistein, Rammstein. Okay. I started speaking German because I wrote du hast mich. Okay, the next one. Yeah, the best, food and drinks. So there are 5,000 different brands of beer in Germany. Can you imagine? 5,000. I personally prefer Mexican beer. For me, German beer is very, very strong. But yeah, I think many of you will like it. There are also over 1,500 kinds of sausages in Germany. So this is like the most important German dish, probably. And they have one sausage made only with blood, Blutwurst, which you can see down here. I don't like it. I only know that my dad likes it. Like, I don't think people eat it that much. And then there's a meal called Hackepeter. That is basically raw meat with spices. This is what you can see over here. It's like minced beef. Yeah, it's raw. You don't, you don't do anything with it. You eat it raw. That's why we call it the German sushi. Okay. Also, again, I don't really like it, but it's a traditional dish. And then here we have jokes about German sausage are the Wurst or the worst, because Wurst in German means sausage. Okay. Haha, okay. Next one. Here we go. Yeah, some more dishes. Bavaria is, which was the state in the south, is called the beer state, because they have those big ones, like it's a little bit more than a liter. And during Oktoberfest, the waitresses, they carry 12 of them. Like in each hand, they have like 12 of them. So they're very heavy. Yeah, and then we have Weißwurst, which is like a white sausage. For me, also doesn't really taste like much. We have pretzels and sweet mustard. That's also very common in Oktoberfest. In the south west, we have something called Spätzle, like near Stuttgart. That's like a type of noodle. Okay, and if you go to Berlin, you should definitely try Currywurst, which is basically like a spicy ketchup. You can also ask. I think this is something US Mexicans would definitely enjoy. Yeah, and that's basically it. I did it really fast. Usually when I do this type of presentation, I have like a conversation with my students and it's like a back and forth. But I try to do it really fast because I'm sure that many of you have questions. So I think I can open the floor for questions and you can ask me.
Muy bien, muchas gracias, maestra Linda. Estuvieron muy graciosos los memes de Alemania. Bueno, ahora damos inicio a preguntas. Estas pueden ser en español, no se preocupen, la maestra entiende muy bien el español. En la parte inferior del lado derecho observarán que hay una opción que dice reacciones. Dándole clic ahí les aparecerá la opción de levantar la mano. Solo tienen que seleccionarla si quieren hacer alguna pregunta y nosotros, el equipo, iremos seleccionando por orden quién realizará la pregunta. Si son seleccionados, les llegará una notificación de que active su audio. ¿Ok? Muy bien, entonces, comenzamos.
Hola, Linda. Buenas noches.
Hi.
I would like to know why you decided to stay in Mexico.
You come with the most complex question first, okay? There are many reasons, obviously. Well, the first reason why I came here to do an internship was because I finished my master's degree and I didn't immediately get a job in Germany. So I decided, okay, maybe if I go somewhere else, make some more experiences, it will be easier for me to come back to Germany and get a job, not knowing that I would stay here. So that was the first reason why I came here. And then it was just for 6 or 10 weeks, something like that. Then I went back and I was back in Germany for 6 months. And I just really missed Mexico. I don't know. I can't explain. The people are very different from German people. I mean, it's a stereotype, right? That the Germans are like kind of cold. It's true in a way, but once they get to know you, they will be super nice with you. But if you are a stranger and you try to talk to them, they will be like, who are you? Yeah, so they're very careful at the beginning. So that's something that I really love about Mexico, that the people are so open and welcoming, and of course the weather, the food, everything here compared to Germany is so much cheaper. So a lot of reasons. Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, Linda. I would like to ask you something.
Hi.
Yeah, well, I was actually I had the chance to study a master degree in Flensburg, Schleswig-Holstein, and after that I moved to Berlin. So I was living there for so many years, but I never had the chance to. I saw that you're from Magdeburg, and I never had the chance to visit Sachsen-Anhalt, and just wanted to ask you how do you find your hometown, your home state? How do you feel from that area? Thank you.
Well, that's also a good question. I'm sure, like, every time I go back, it changes a lot. Like, obviously, when in the 90s there were a lot of problems because East Germany didn't have a lot of money. So West Germany gave a lot of money to the East so that they could go be on the same level. And now it's it's kind of the same, like the West and the East. I mean, well, that's also a different question, but no, I think it's getting much better. I must say that especially in my hometown, there is a lot of racism. Obviously, the racism is much higher in the East because people were not used to foreigners. So when foreigners started coming, it was kind of like, there are still people who are a lot of neo-Nazis. Like, I have a lot of stories with that, like going out at night, seeing people like racist actions in the streets. So that's also one reason why I didn't want to stay, because I really hated that. But yeah, I mean, they're trying to make it better, yeah, to fight the racism, to improve the living conditions, because if you improve living conditions, racism will also go down. And yeah, it's getting better and better, I would say. So it's worth a visit. And the cathedral is beautiful, and yeah, we have some nice things in my city. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, Linda, how you doing? My name is David.
Hi, David.
I already saw a couple of minutes of the cartoon Sadman. It's very creepy. It's not funny, but okay. What do you know about the journalism there in Germany? How is the profession there? There is an offer to practice the profession in addition to the international agencies, for example. I mean, perhaps newspapers or something like that. It's an offer in Germany to work in journalism. Thank you.
To work there, I have no idea because I'm not in that business. But I'm sure there would be. I mean, we have a lot of. We have this one very famous newspaper which is called Bild. It's like really bad. It only gives like gossip, and my dad buys it all the time, and my mom gets angry. Yeah, but no, with jobs, I really don't know. I mean, I would just recommend you to try to just write any and see if they give out jobs. Yeah, no idea. Sorry.
No problem, Linda. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okay, can I?
Hi.
Hi, teacher. I want to ask, how is your life in Mexico if you don't speak Spanish? If you only understand when I'm speaking Spanish?
That's a good question. When I first came here, like 6 years ago, I didn't know any Spanish, not even hola, ¿cómo estás? Nothing. I wanted to learn Spanish in high school, but at the time they only offered, I learned Latin, I learned English, I learned French, but Spanish unfortunately was not offered. Yeah, so I only learned by listening. I never had classes, only by listening. But I must say, I spent pretty much all my time at work. Like since the beginning, I've always had either 2 or 3 jobs. So obviously at my job, I speak either English or German. I can do the easy, like all the A1 parts I can do, order in a restaurant, go to OXXO, like all of those things is no problem. But I prefer not to have like serious conversations with my friends or something. Yeah, that's something we do in English. But I've also, I don't know how this works. It's still like a mystery to me, but I've also been dating guys who didn't speak any English. So they were speaking to me in Spanish and I was speaking to them in English, and somehow it works. Don't ask me. I don't know.
Okay, great.
Okay,
Oh,
thank you.
Thanks.
Muy bien, tenemos tiempo para una última pregunta. Si alguien tiene alguna duda, por favor, levante la mano.
Yo pregunté, yo levanté la mano, pero creo que se olvidaron de mí.
Ok, si gustas hacer tu pregunta, adelante.
Ok, ya, listo. Ok, hello. Well, in Deutsch, I'm beginner. So I have a question about this language. in which regions of Germany the pronunciation of the R is different? I heard something about that, but I would like to hear you about this pronunciation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have a lot of accents. I always say when people tell me, oh, I'm going to, I don't know, Stuttgart to learn German, and I'm like, oh no, you should not go to Stuttgart to learn German. Yeah, so the best city to go where they speak like High German, what we call High German, is Hanover, which is exactly in the middle. And then when you just go like, I don't know, 100 kilometers to the east, you will hear a different accent. In Bavaria, it's very specific. Even in Austria and in Switzerland, they have not just different accents, but different dialects. So they have different vocabulary, different grammatical structures. I also have an accent, but when I'm in my classes, of course, I try to speak as clearly as possible. Yeah, so the only example that I already gave is like, instead of saying ich, like in Berlin they say ich or icke, but there are many of those kind of examples. Yeah, I recommend you to just look on YouTube. They have like funny videos with different accents from the different cities. Watch that and you will be like, what? Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ok, tenemos dos personas que tienen levantada la mano, que es Oliver y Mario, serían las últimas. Entonces, ahorita les mando la invitación para que hablen.
Perdón, olvidé bajar la mano. Okay. But I have another question. I have many questions.
Yeah, tell me.
Okay, thank. Okay. Well, how is the life for Mexican people in Germany? For example, if I go to Germany, how will be my life if I'm from Mexico?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have. It's also such a weird story. I was dating somebody from here, and when I moved here, he moved there. Yeah, so he's still there, and I'm still here. He works in, like, the best way for you to go and live there is obviously to have a job. The best area would be IT. Like, if you work in IT, information technology, it will be very easy for you to get a job in Europe, in Germany. Also, if you are an engineer, especially with automobiles, it will also be easy for you to go. Yeah, probably you would start, like, if you're an engineer, you would start working for a company here, and then, like, that has connections with Germany, and then they would send you there, and, like, step by step. Yeah, it's not like you could go there immediately, but like there's like an exchange. Yeah, so it's pretty, I mean, it's pretty normal life, I would say. The only thing is, depending on where you go, you will experience some racism in some form, definitely, not just in Germany, anywhere in Europe. So that will definitely happen to you. I've traveled with many Mexicans to Europe, and it always happened, always. So that's something maybe you have to expect, which is very sad, but it's very likely that it will happen. But with your coworkers, everything will be normal. Yeah, you will be one of the people working there, and yeah, no problems with that. Maybe things will appear more. Mm-hmm.
But how is for a blind or low vision people?
For sorry, say again.
Huh?
Can you repeat it?
How? Yeah. How is the life for a blind or low vision people in Germany?
For blind people, probably easier than here.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably easier because
Really?
I think so. Yeah, we have more measures to help those kind of people. Yeah, I think so. Okay.
Oh, great. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi, Linda. Thank you for being here. Well, my question is, what did you thought of the movie Jojo Rabbit of last year?
Oh my God, I loved it. Yeah, I have to watch it again. It was so like very, very original take on that heavy subject matter. Yeah, definitely amazing. Also very sad at some point, and yeah, you know what I also love, the movie Life is Beautiful, where they are in the concentration camp, the dad and his son. That is also amazing. Yeah, I love those kind of original takes on that topic. Yeah, I studied movies and television, so yeah, movies. Yeah, it's amazing.
Thank you.
Hola.
Hi.
¿Puedo preguntar? Lo siento, es que no sé cómo levantar la mano.
Go ahead.
Ok, yo soy de Colombia, no sé si sea la única persona de Colombia. Me gustaría saber si algún día quisieras conocer Colombia o si ya lo conoces.
Sophia, can you translate, please?
Oh my God. Would you like to travel to Colombia?
Like at some point, would you like to go to Colombia?
Go to Colombia?
It's so funny
When
because
you would like to go to Colombia?
yeah, because actually first I wanted to go to Colombia and not to Mexico. I don't know why that was like on my list first. Maybe because no, I don't know actually. I just was thinking Colombia might be a good idea. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I want to go. I want to go to a lot of places. But yeah, also to Peru. I would love to go to Chile. I want to go, yes, for sure.
Muy bien, con esto cerramos la sección de preguntas. Agradecemos mucho a la maestra Linda por esta presentación. Creo que todos estamos de acuerdo que fue muy divertida, y fue algo que a todos nos sirve aprender, obviamente, sobre la cultura e idioma de otro país, y qué bien que fue de Alemania. Les recordamos que este próximo 5 de abril tendremos un nuevo grupo para alemán para principiantes y será dirigido por la maestra Linda. Le agradecemos otra vez, maestra. Muchas gracias.
Thank you for coming. Bye.